Hi guys, this is the last video of 2014. Woohoo! Woohoo! And if you hear me crunch a little bit, it's because I'm doing this during my lunch. I'm sorry, but I wanted to get it done and get it posted so some of you could get it downloaded before you left this afternoon. The first few problems on here deal with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. And we reviewed in class that when you add, the way to remember is to use the song. If you multiply or divide, you use the Dr. Triangle or the tic-tac-toe. And then over here on the side, we reminded you that if you're going to subtract, you have to add the opposite. So those were your reminders. Using that, same signs, add and keep. One's -9. Different signs, subtract. -12 plus 6 would be -6. When you change number 3 to add the opposite, the subtraction sign changes to an addition sign. And the opposite of -4 is +4. And then you go back to your song. Same signs, add and keep. Different signs, subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. When the signs of the integers are different, when you multiply, like -4 times 6, you get a negative answer, -24. And on number 5, when you divide two negatives, you get a positive answer. Now that's what you ought to get off of your Dr. Triangle, multiplication and division. And we've got add and subtract and negative and negative. And then for your tic-tac-toe, we've got positive, 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 negative, 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 negative. And then you can go around that and see that a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So those were the first 5. Not too bad. For number 6, you were to find the difference between 55 degrees Fahrenheit and -15. But that change in temperature, in order to find a difference, you need to subtract. Whoops, not subtract 1. That should be a parentheses. Difference and subtract. So I did 35 minus that -15. I changed it to add the opposite. So we've got a 50-degree spread here, or a 50-degree change. The other thing you could do is you could do the absolute value of 35, how far it is away from 0 up this way, added to the absolute value of -15, how far it is from 0 going the other direction. And when you put those together, you've got the change. It's still 35 plus 15, which would be 50, 50-degree change. We discussed this one a little bit in class, looking for the unit rate of these Cheerios. Wanted you to remember that the unit rate always makes a comparison to 1, and that we can find that unit rate on the graph by finding where that 1 ounce is and going up to that point. But now we need to take care of the questions. So the question is, what is the unit rate in dollars per ounce? See how it's written here? Dollars per ounce. So that's how you need to explain it. 15 cents per ounce, using that word per for a unit rate. And then the ordered pair 00 represents that 0 ounces. If you don't buy any Cheerios, then you don't pay any money. Cost $0. Or there is no cost for no Cheerios. So that's going to be important to write that out clearly. The others we did in class until you get to number 15. So let's take a look at number 15. The scale drawing below represents a ramp that's being built by a construction company. All right, so here's the ramp part, and apparently we need that ramp to come up so far. And you are to find the actual dimensions of the ramp. Before we can find those actual dimensions, you've got to take a look at this scale. And I know you are not going to like the fraction that ½ an inch equals 1 foot. So you can change the fraction into a decimal. 1/2 is the same as 0.5. Think about that fraction. 1/2 means 1 divided by 2. And if you do that on your calculator, you'll get 0.5. Using 0.5 in your proportion is going to be much easier. Now, because we're doing the dimensions of the ramp, we've got to do all 3 sides. Each side's going to use the same proportion here, the same key. So I'm going to come at this backwards. So we would take the scale, 0.5 inches over 1 foot would equal 5 over, this is the letter Z. I know it looks like a 2. Let me fix that. That's supposed to be a Z as in Zow. That's better. Some of you will put a line through there to show that that's a Z. Using your cross products, Z would equal 10, and let's see, the bottom here is feet, so the real one's going to be 10 feet. So one of our dimensions is 10 feet, okay? Now we're going to do another side. I chose to do the 4-inch side. 0.5 inches over 1 foot equals 4 over y. I used a different variable because it was a different side. Solving it using the cross products, dividing by 0.5. Y is 8 feet. So there's my second one. And now we do the third one, same way, setting up the proportion. 0.5 inches over 1 foot equals 3 inches. Got this whole matchy-matchy thing going on. Don't forget the matchy-matchy. Using your cross products and dividing by 0 and 5/10, we get 6. So the last side is 6 feet long. This one, as you can imagine, is going to be worth several points because you've got those 3 answers. So it's an important one to do. Same skill repeated over and over again. Watch the fraction, change it to a decimal to make it easier, and then make sure you do all 3 sides. If you don't do all 3 sides, then you're going to lose some points. 16 is another scale question. We've got the 1 centimeter to 15 kilometers. That's the scale on the map. We are to figure out how many kilometers are represented by 6 meters. This is just a matter of putting it in your proportion correctly. So 1 over 15, 1 centimeter over 15 kilometers equals 6 centimeters over x. Here we go again. Got that matchy-matchy thing happening. When you solve this, you find out that those two are really 90 kilometers apart. Honestly, as things go, I think you've got a really good chance of doing well on this semester test, particularly if you're watching this video tonight. So that's your secret. Good chance. Secret, here's the secret. Good chance. You have a good chance. By looking over this, I think you can do it. Number 17, what is the circumference of the circle? You'll remember that circumference of the circle is the distance around. What we are given here is a diameter of 6 inches. That's going to be important. It says use 3.144. That should say pi. I don't know why it didn't print. Label your answer and do not round. We're going to leave this one just the way it turns out. First of all, you need the formula. Circumference starts with a C. C equals pi times the diameter. Remember, it's cream pie or chocolate pie or cherry pies are delicious. Now we've got to get the right numbers in. Pi is 3.14. D stands for diameter. The diameter is given right here in the question. You don't have to do anything to it except stick it in for the letter D. So 3.14 times 6 would be 18.84 inches. Making sure you have the label. From what I see, if you don't include labels on your answers for the semester test, you're going to lose some points. So make sure you include the labels and you'll have a good chance. That's your secret, remember, of doing well. All right, 18. We've got to find the volume and the surface area. This was the last thing that we've been studying, so I figured you had a pretty good idea how to do it. In order to do these, you first of all need the formulas. Volume equals V, the uppercase B, times the height of the prism. So if I draw in the bottom of this thing, this is the base. That's what that big B stands for. You would have to find the area of the bottom and then multiply it by the height of the prism, which is 10. Now, if you find the area of a rectangle, you could think of it as length times width times height, which would be 10 times 7. Actually, I've got mine backwards. I did it differently earlier. We do 5 times 7 to get the area of the base. That's 35. And then multiply it that we could put 10 layers of cubes in there for the volume to be 350 centimeters squared. Cubed. See, 3 on the end, cubed. That's going to be important. Surface area. You guys did a good job on your test of writing out the formula. What you sometimes left out was between the 2 little wildcats and the 2 large horses and the 2 wild hogs should be plus signs. A lot of you were multiplying and that caused you a problem. Just like we did before, I'm going to make 10L, 7W, 5H. And as long as I keep that consistent through my formula, I'll come out with the correct surface area. 2 times L, which is 10, times W, which is 7, plus 2 times 10, which is L, times H, which is 5, plus 2 times 7, which is the width, times 5, which I assigned as H. Now it's a matter of doing the multiplication, 140 plus 100 plus 70, adding it up, and you get 310 centimeters square. Remember, area, surface area are all measured in square inches. And 4th hour, this is where we left off. We didn't have time to finish this one, so I wanted to finish it out with you. You guys did a great job remembering your formulas. You realized that this circle here is really half of a circle, so you knew we'd have to take that area formula and divide it by 2. But what we didn't do is we didn't get to pick out R, or the radius. The line that's drawn here that I'm trying to trace in red, that's not straight at all, so let me try something else. Now let's see if I can make a red straight line. That's your diameter. Your diameter is 16. You will remember that the radius goes from the center out to the edge. It doesn't go all the way across. The green line that I've drawn here is the radius. If all the way across is 16, the radius is half of that number. So 16 divided by 2 will give us the radius. 8 would be the radius for this semicircle. So when we come over to use the formula, every place you see R, you need to substitute in 8. And then we'll take it times 3.14 and divide that by 2. Your calculator should make quick work of that. You should get 296 hundredths divided by 2, which makes the area of the circle 100.48 square centimeters. So now to find the total, you guys did a great job of telling me what to do. We'd have to take 160, the area of the rectangle, add it to the area of the semicircle, and we'd have 260 and 48 centimeters squared. Hey, that's most of the basics that are going to be on your test tomorrow. Not bad for the full semester. With a little bit of time on your part, brushing up some formulas, brushing up some integer rules, brushing up some proportion setup as it comes to percentages, I think you're going to do real well. See you tomorrow. Lots of luck.